Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Lately on my channel, I've been doing a lot of video summaries using various AI instruments, and I'm sure that people have been saying, okay, when is this guy gonna actually do a video, an actual video? So here is the actual video, not AI. So I wanted to talk about all the various kinds of information and also the advice that we find online with all kinds of people, hustling to be social media influencers, etc. And as a result, because they pander to the algorithm, they want to make a name for themselves, they want to become big in this world of social media influencers, they tend to say a lot of things that are not true, and they also speak from a point where they are not don't possess knowledge on what they talk about, and also they don't have the life experience. So you find people, for example, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old talking about relationship advice. Okay, but what relationship? What relationship experience do you have when you're 20 years old? Okay, so this is the problem. Then you have people out here talking endlessly about polygyny, or polygamy, having multiple wives, but which is actually, the word is polygyny, but it is commonly or popularly known as polygamy. So people talking endlessly about polygyny, and they don't have the polygynous lifestyle. They don't have the experience of polygyny. So there's a lot of in theory things. Okay, people talking in theory, people giving advice on topics they don't understand, people purporting to have real life experience when they don't, etc. And this is obviously, unfortunately, the world we live in. And we need to, as believers in Allah and His messengers, we need to be careful about doing this type of fabrications in a way. And we see in the Quran, we will see that Allah tells us, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون. O believers, why do you say what you do not do? So this is a very important from Surah As-Saf, where you can find this verse, and it is something that I caution myself on, and I caution you, the people who believe in the book of the Quran, not to say things which you don't do, and also to take the credit of others. Other people do something, and then you want to credit yourself with it, and then your bad, or the things that you do wrong, you want to absolve yourself from it, and then blame others for what you have done. Okay, and then further it says, obviously, if you go to the next verse, it says, how despicable it is in the sight of Allah that you say what you do not do. Okay, so this is one of the major sins. Okay, and this is, we can see here, it says, كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون. Okay, so it is a big thing. Okay, it is a despicable, and it's a big thing. Surely Allah loves those who fight in His cause in solid ranks, if they were one concrete structure. So this is where I will stop. And as a reminder again to myself and to you, do not say that which you do not do. And also, as a life coach myself, that I coach people, especially men, when I coach on polygyny, it is because I'm in it. When I coach on business, it's because I've done it. I do own and have owned businesses. I've gone through starting businesses, I've gone through closing businesses. Every single thing that I coach on, I am actively involved in, or have been actively involved in at one point. When I coach people on losing weight, it's because I've done it. I've walked myself through the process of losing weight. I've walked through others, trained them and taken them from the process of losing weight. I have a track record on it. When I coach people on weight training, it's because I have done weight training. I've been a weightlifter. I've been a power lifter. I've participated in the sport of strength, gaining strength, and also I have personally walked myself through the process of going from 66 kilograms to 75 kilograms with muscle mass. So I've done it. I've walked myself through these various stages. I don't remain stagnant in those stages though, because I like to cycle through different experiences and different sport. So for example, when I was focused on gaining muscle, that was a stage of my life. It's not the stage of my life I'm in now. Okay? Recently, I've gone more into running marathons and gaining a lot of muscle are not congruent. These two things don't go together, they don't work together. Hence, I'm not as big as I was because I've transitioned from one thing to another thing. Why do I do these things? Because I like to experience different things. I like to walk in the shoes of other people and their sports. And also, I add then that to my coaching repertoire. Okay, some people come to me, they say, okay, look, I'd like to be able to run a marathon. Guess what? Coach the Bruyns. I've run marathons. I can say that I've run marathons. I have a record of it. I've done it. I've gone from being a coach with lots of muscles to breaking down those muscles to being able to run a marathon. Okay? But because I needed to experience this to coach on this, and I need to experience this to coach on that. So I've done everything that I talk about. Literally, I've done everything that I talk about. If people talk to me about martial arts, I have a black belt in karate. I have participated in various full contact karate tournaments. I've participated in kickboxing tournaments. I've also done judo. I've done Kukso One. I've done Muay Thai. I've done Ashihara karate. I've done, when I was a kid, I started out with samurai karate, not such a well-known type of karate, but I've walked through a long journey of participating in, competing in, practicing various martial arts. So when I talk about martial arts and I talk about fighting, I can now talk from a point of some experience. I've also done boxing. So I have this record, okay, where I've done these things. Okay, I've trained also in various countries in these sports and under various coaches throughout my life. Okay, so this is, for me, what's important. Living a full life, experiencing various sports, experiencing various lifestyles, experiencing various cultures, and then being able to help people within their own life. That's what life coaching is about for me. I do what I say and I advise based on experience, knowledge, insight, and research. I'm a Quran first coach, just like I started with the Quran now. I take my directives directly from the Quran, and then that becomes the basis on which I expand my knowledge using those directives. Okay, so this is what a Quran first coach does. So with that I conclude, and I hope that I've made it clear. Don't say what you don't do. It's very irritating because you listen to people talk absolute rubbish online all the time, and people fall for it every time. Okay, if the person doesn't have a track record, if the person doesn't have 2 wives or hasn't had 2 wives, they cannot coach you on polygyny. They didn't walk in someone's shoes. They didn't do it. Okay, if a person has not coached and or lived an active lifestyle, a person doesn't attend the gym, they haven't gone through a process of either losing weight or gaining muscle, they can't coach you on that. It's as simple as that. Okay, I believe in a pragmatic, hands-on approach to life through experience and people who don't know what they're talking about are not going to get you the results that you need. Okay, every great, for example, boxing coach, okay, was at some point a boxer. They don't have to be the greatest boxer to be the greatest coach, but they must have boxed. Okay, they must have gone through the motions of being a boxer. Okay, the same goes with every swimming coach. A swimming coach who takes people through to the Olympics and to winning Olympic gold medals, right, were swimmers at one point. Okay, they didn't need to be the greatest swimmer, but they need to have competed and been in that arena. Okay, and this is the life of coaching. A life coach such as myself must have lived. Okay, so it doesn't make sense for somebody who's 21 to be a life coach. I'm 42. I'm the other side of the spectrum now of life. I'm on the opposite end now. I'm heading towards the older years of life, the more experienced years of life. And so when I talk about rearing children, I have 11 children. When I talk about having multiple wives, I have 2 wives. When I talk about being married for a long time, I've been married for 20 plus years. Okay? When I talk about whatever I talk about, it comes from having done it. Even when I talk about divorce, I have divorced. Okay? I've gone through the spectrum of life. I've also done intercultural, interracial marriage. I know what that is like. I've gone through the business experiences where I've started a business from scratch. Okay, I can talk about that, how that is. I can talk about dissolving a business, because I've gone through that also. Bankruptcy, I've gone through that. Switching business models, I've gone through that. Marketing strategies, exactly. I've been through the process of various things in my life, and lived in various countries and engaged in various cultures. Okay, so that's why I can talk about these things. I also speak various languages. Ik praat baie tale, أتكلم لغات كثيرا. I have integrated myself into various societies, and that is what I bring. Thank you very much.